Demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was another rough night for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers and Clippers have now lost 3 straight. Somebody named Royce O'Neal hit a three-pointer with 0.9 seconds left in the game to give Phoenix a 113-110 win over the Lakers. O'Neal's game winner ruined a 41-point performance by Luka Doncic. The Clippers had to play Minnesota last night without 2 starters. Kawhi Leonard and John Collins were on the bench with an injury. Minnesota held on for a 94-88 win at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers had a horrible night shooting from three-point range. They made only 5 of 22. Grambling State University gave a 2-year contract extension to head football coach Mickey Joseph. The legendary HBCU program was 7-5 last season, the team's best finish since 2017. Joseph is 12-12 in his first 2 seasons at Grambling. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you something, all that glitters ain't gold. It's been a long old troublesome road, and I'm looking for somebody come and help me carry this load. I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's
Dollar is what I need. I am hosting an event with Aloe Black this weekend, but more on that to come. It is a benefit actually for the Sankofa Foundation, and it's like I don't think it's sold out yet, but it's nearly sold out. It's with Aloe Black, Chuck D, Dolores Huerta, Danny Glover, Shepard Fairey, Monique Mitchell, and Ali Shahid Muhammad. So that's coming up this weekend. If you want more information, go to sankofa.org. Tonight, we're having our event for homegoing for Jesse Jackson Sr. That's at 7 at the First AME Church. It's free. You don't have to register. You just come and have some fellowship with us. And then Saturday, I'm hosting the LA County Black Employees Association Gala Dinner. Looking forward to that as we honor Judge Songhai Armstead and others. So that's going to be it's going to be a busy weekend. I'm trying to bring out Black History Month with a bang, but it is Freedmen Friday, and we have a returning guest. He's born and raised in Philadelphia and worked really hard on the Juneteenth holiday. He calls himself a reparationist. Khalif, the reparationist. Alexander, back with us in studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be back.
Yeah. You're kind of bi-coastal now. You're back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we've had a lot of wins and a lot of setbacks in the reparations movement. And I'll say since the rise of the current administration, since whatever it is, 14 months
Right.
of MAGA. And so while the president has made an unequivocal statement against reparations at this point, he had kind of said some stuff on the campaign trail, posting something about how Kamala Harris was going to bring reparations and that was a reason not to vote for her. But now he's, made a statement against the UN's reparations initiatives and made it very clear that he considers it part of the problem, along with DEI and other black things. Those proclamations make it really, I think, even more amazing that we're seeing progress and wins in the local arena. How do you see it?
Well, I love how you always, you know how to make a good gumbo or a good trail mix. Like you can add, a lot of different things in there too. I just love how you do that. I love how you just worded that. But what I was saying in regards to,
thank you.
The orange man, or Trump as we call him. I really don't look at anything he says in regards to like reparations, even remotely serious. Simply because if you look at reparations or even the Freedmen's Act, the Reconstruction, all of that type of stuff, it's still in the books. It's just not being enacted in today's time. So it's just a matter of local and state officials, quite frankly, and federal officials, legislators, not necessarily from the executive branch, but from the legislative branch. It's going to be their duty to bring forth that to the executive branches, whether it's city, state, and even potentially federal government. But that's kind of more so of the fight, because I just think that we don't have the full numbers of the community that's even paying attention to this. So I get what you're saying, but it's also kind of like,
Well, I mean, I think that's a really fair point. The fact that the president's job is not to make laws anyway. He's not a lawmaker. He's an executive.
Right.
He's the chief executive. But because this Congress appears to be terrified of the president, and they pretty much do everything he says, and the Supreme Court, other than tariffs, has gone along with every single thing he says. It seems like, I guess the reason I say that is because if he can do it by executive order or by intimidation, he will shut down anything at the federal level. And they do have the majority in both houses of Congress.
But nobody at the federal level in the state Senate or state House has even introduced the Freedmen Affairs bills or even the reparations bills since he's been back in office.
Well, at the state level.
No, I'm saying at the federal level.
Yeah. They reintroduced it. Ayanna Pressley and what's
you
his
said
name?
who?
Representative Ayanna Pressley and Senator Cory Booker. Yeah, they did.
So
they reintroduced H.R. 40. It's not
what
going
year
to win.
What year was this?
2025.
Did it get out of the committee?
No, it's never been out of the committee. What is it? 30 years?
And that's the
80s.
That's the issue. So it hasn't been out of the committee. So if it hasn't been out of that committee.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the idea that, that federal lawmakers have to make this happen when it didn't happen even when we had Democrats running the Congress, and he has made an international proclamation that he's against reparations. It's still been introduced, the same thing that's been happening since 1985, right?
I think it's been introduced in the committees, but the last time I remember that it actually hit the floor was with I think that's when Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, maybe 3 years ago.
Right, that's the only time it hit the floor,
and at that time it didn't even hit 200 votes.
Yeah, I mean, surprise.
Most people, it wasn't a surprise because I knew people.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The Democrats had the majority then, and they didn't vote in it.
They had a weird majority because they had Manchin and Sinema, which are, dinos.
I get it, but it didn't even get the opportunity to make it out of the House.
And it didn't have presidential, gravitas behind it. It didn't have presidential lobbying behind it, to be fair. Like, Biden is hardly a reparationist.
Right.
So, yeah. But I'm just saying, even though Joe Biden is an old-fashioned corporate dem who's never going to support reparations, he didn't go to the UN and say, I, King Trump, proclaim that reparations is DEI and it's bad.
Right.
I mean, it's basically what he said. It's woke and it's bad.
I just, he's just like one of those guys, as we see outside in the streets nowadays. Trump just be popping it just to pop it. And some of this stuff, it stick, but most of the stuff, I think it really doesn't stick. I just think it sticks to the audience, and then we can propagandalize it and sensationalize it. Whereas those like, oh, this is what's going on. He just popping it. He not really doing what he claims to be. But both sides of, me, I'm always the both sides of the coin. I think the Democrats and the Republicans, they don't have the best interest for the Black Americans and the freedmen anyway. So it's like,
well, I mean, I think when you say Democrats, that's a lot of different folks, right? That's Ilhan Omar and Kristen Sinema. That's Joe Biden and Amiri Baraka. I mean, and Raz Baraka. Like, those are all
I like Raz
Dems.
Baraka now.
Yeah, well,
He's a good guy.
of course. And it's not just because he's my brother. It's because he is a pragmatist and a progressive, and he gets stuff done.
But some of those progressive politics, and for example, especially in the city of Philadelphia, they've been harming Black people to some of our beliefs in the community.
I'm talking about Black progressives, of course.
Even the Black progressives, to a certain extent, they'll take bills, and I'll give you an example. In the city of Philadelphia, for the past 4 years, my colleagues, Obona Higgins, Anthony Dickerson, and other individuals that I work with, we've been introducing or trying to introduce legislation to develop the Office of Freedmen Affairs, right? And that's been a 4 to 5 year project through the city and the state. Now, we have people who said, we don't know if we can introduce this. We don't know if we can do this, right? Councilwoman Jamie Gaudier, you can write these names down too. Councilwoman Jamie Gaudier and Councilman Nicholas O'Rourke. These are two progressives, Black people, so-called Black people.
Well, I have to see their track record because a lot of people call themselves progressives. I call them progressive posers.
Nicholas O'Rourke is
I have to take your word for it because I don't know the internal workings of Philadelphia. So
Nicholas O'Rourke was the former president of the Philadelphia Working Families Party, and then he got elected as city councilman as the Independent Party. And Jamie Gaudier, she's a staunch progressive. Like I actually did business with her. I think she was a great woman. But when it came down to introducing legislation for the freedmen, oh no, we can't. But then when we go and coincide that, we're looking at bills and policies that they could just pull out of the woodworks for this thing, ICE thing. Like, they're just pulling out legislation, but they're following a national propaganda component. They're following national propaganda in regards to introducing legislation. Like you just said those names, Ayanna Pressley, the Elon Omar. Cory Booker.
Those are the two on the reparations bill. Ilhan is not on that
Oh, my
bill.
bad, Ilhan. But I'm just saying, they're concepts, these types of Democrats. So, like, in my mind, all of the Democrats, they're one and the same coin because they all practice the benign neglect.
And that's not true. And I'll box you because I mean I will agree with you that the vast majority of Democrats are, yes, there are corporate Dems that follow national trends. A lot of it has to do with just being elected.
What about lying Isaac
what's
Bryant?
Correct. We don't fight about that because first of all, what are you doing in LA politics if you're from Philly? Now you want to take down Isaac Bryant, who has done more concrete actual work that actually helps the community than a lot of people run around talking smack on social media about him. What
about August 31st, 2024?
Yeah, what about it? Okay, we're gonna is this the fight you want? Because I thought you wanted to talk about Philadelphia reparations.
I just missed you.
If this is the fight you want, I actually do know a thing or two about that. This might not be the fight you want.
Nah, not today.
Right.
I just missed
It's a
you.
Freedman Friday. You miss me?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a
So
while.
when you miss me, you want to box me? Because we can box.
A little spar. You're one of my favorites.
No. Like August 31st was definitely a betrayal of the Black community. But for you to say lying Isaac Bryan like some Trump, like you gonna give him a Trumpy nickname. He was one of an entire Black caucus. He's the only one that came back and spoke to the community at the town hall meeting. He apologized for that, and y'all, and then y'all want to spread mis and disinformation. So I'm not the one, and you know that. I may not know the inner workings of Philly politics like that. So, then I will do some research, see what you're talking about. Interesting. But if you want to talk California, let's go.
I leave California to the Californians, but
most people don't. Like, people from all over the country want to meddle in California.
It's so messy.
No, it's because we move the ball, and giving birth is not sanitary. It's messy. You want to give birth to a modern movement, it's going to be a little messy. That's how it is. Philly's not messy?
Philly's messy, but the difference between Philly and California messy is that California messy is so publicized because it's so nasty.
It's because it's big. It's because we're the 4th largest economy in the world. We're like a whole country.
I get it.
And it's because we're first.
I get it.
The first state to have a reparations task force, period, full stop.
I get it.
It's going to be a little messy.
I got you.
But we're moving the ball.
Absolutely.
All right, Khalif is here. Khalif Alexander, the reparationist, and you're welcome in. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
This Friday night, KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to gather with us as we honor a legend. Join us at 7 p.m. at the historic First AME Church for a celebration of life for the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., civil rights leader and tireless champion for justice. For decades, Reverend Jackson stood on the front lines of change, fighting for voting rights, economic opportunity, and equality for all. Now, the community comes together to reflect, to remember, and to celebrate a life that helped shape a nation. Music, prayer, powerful tributes. That's this Friday, February 27th at First AME Church in Los Angeles, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks our partners for this celebration of life service in honor of Reverend Jackson, the Empowerment Congress, SCLCLA, the LA County Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO, United Faith Community, of course, First AME Church, and St. John's Community Health. For details and coverage, stay with KBLA Talk 1580.
I am black, beautiful.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Okay, Khalif Alexander is here, and we don't agree on most anything, but he calls himself a reparationist and has done a lot of work. You've done a lot of work around Juneteenth.
Yes.
We don't always associate Juneteenth with reparations. We've talked about this before. Some people said, like, that's the holiday we didn't ask for. And I know that's not true. I know a lot of people worked on Juneteenth for a long time. But we are starting to see some rollback on that now.
Yeah, I saw something in, what was that, Iowa City?
Idaho, I think.
Idaho City. I mean, again, these are, one thing about these devils, and this is, unfortunately, but one thing about these people is what they'll do is they'll try to break federal law when it's convenient for them, right? But when other municipalities attempt to do the same, they'll say that that's illegal. So even with them saying that, we're not going to recognize Juneteenth is laughable because, okay, it's still a paid federal holiday. You can make it where it's still fine. City employees in that city is going to work fine. I mean, the city is probably like 99.9% white anyway. So it's kind of like, all right, cool, y'all devils, y'all go do your thing.
If they want to go to work.
Yeah, y'all separatists anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was wondering about that because if it's a federal holiday and you say, well, we're gonna get rid of Juneteenth and restore Columbus Day, which is what they're saying. How does that work? Like, did you go to work even though it's a federal holiday and then
they just popping it?
Don't go to work on Columbus Day. Like, I don't understand what that even means.
I told you, some of these people, they just go pop it and then they'll make propaganda and sensationalize it as if it's actually true. But the thing about media now is we'll see it and believe it. So, like, if I called the mayor and said, hey, how are you actually going to do this in Idaho, and wherever it is, Idaho City, if I called and said, how is this actually going to be possible?
Right.
I don't think they would even have an answer. So I wouldn't even waste my time because there's not even that many black people in Idaho City.
Yeah, I understand that, Khalif, but the question really is when people, even like where I started with the president making a proclamation at the UN against reparations, and I'm not saying Juneteenth is part of reparations,
right.
but that's one of the things you've invested a lot of time in,
right.
And you are a reparationist. I feel like when they start creating momentum against a thing, it can have an effect, a negative effect on it. Do you disagree with that? You think it's all just talk? And no, it's all because executive orders, perfect example. The president says by executive order, we are no longer supporting reparations at the United Nations. Well, the next president could come in and say the exact opposite and overturn that, but the damage is done in those years of the presidency while they're acting as if DEI is illegal, while they're acting as if reparations are illegal, or they're acting as if black people are illegal.
But our president also said that cities that are sanctuary cities and states, they won't get federal funding, and we all knew that was a lie.
Well, yeah, I mean they have withheld funds where they felt they could get away with it, and they are punishing California universities, for example, and withholding funds for Medicare and Medicaid, and Medi-Cal in some states.
Well, that's because I don't even want to get it. Don't get me started on it. I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole of California because I can tell you some things. I can give you an example, right? Whereas though I know that schools in LAUSD in the city of Los Angeles in particular, probably even the whole state, they're going to lose funding because they have illegal practices, and I'll give you one.
I thought we were talking about reparations.
I know, but you didn't brought this up.
You just said you didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. No, I was asking you about your work on Juneteenth. I mean, go ahead if you wanted to say it, but that's going to be a whole conversation because I'm not going to let you sit up here and say things that are not factually correct.
And I can tell you one thing that's factually correct because I'm in the classroom. I've been at this school.
Substitute teacher.
Yeah, I've been subbing at this school, a couple of them, but I can't say the school because whatever. People have been reading in ELA class 4 books in Spanish. People have been talking the whole classroom in Spanish. So I'll come and I'll be like,
ELA.
ELA in Spanish, and I'm confused because
English. This is English as a second language.
No, this is ELA, English Language Arts. This is like reading class, like what we used to call it back in the day. Now they call it English Language Arts. This is the class where as though you're learning how to read.
And you're mad because they're reading books in Spanish.
I'm not mad. I don't think that's legal.
You can read books in Spanish.
No, the entire class is in Spanish. Nobody's speaking English. So when they brought me into the class, they had to have someone translate everything that I was saying so that the whole classroom could understand.
If they're learning English, it's still legal to teach people in Spanish so that they can get to English.
They learned that the class was the science class was in Spanish.
Interesting.
The history class was in Spanish. The math class was even in Spanish outside of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused
because numbers are universal.
No, but the numbers are universal, but not the word problems.
Right.
But my point.
So what? Yeah, what is your point here?
My point is, I don't think that's legal. I think that's legal if you're an independent, privately ran school like how Dr. Umar wants to have. But if you're a
that
tax
he's been building for 30 years.
If you're a tax fund, if you're getting money from the government as a school based on taxes, I believe that's illegal.
I don't think so. I'm not an expert.
I'm not either.
But I don't think so, because just as we can have ballots in many different languages, we can have instruction in many different languages, and obviously the goal would be in a public school would be to have people be English learners. But I don't think
that's why they have ESOL.
I don't think that's illegal. No, I don't. But anyway, what's the issue with it? What does it have to do with reparations? Why does that make...
That's just the California thing. Like, that's just something that I noticed. I just picked up on that because I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
You've never seen students accommodated with language or disability?
I've seen some students. I've had a student when I taught history, when I taught 7th grade history, when I taught 4th grade ELA out here the past few years, full time. We had two students and we accommodated them. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the entire class speaking in Spanish.
Well, we're in a place that used to be Mexico, so there's a lot of people here that speak Spanish, and we do have a lot of immigrants also. But what would be the proper way to do it?
I think personally that you have to use ESOL, or if this is an independently ran school outside of taxpaying dollars.
Run.
But if this is used by taxpaying dollars, then I think I'm pretty sure there will be some kind of investigation, because I don't know what's going on with
I don't see an investigation on that. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to ask a lawyer. But see here, and we only have a minute till news, traffic, and sports, so you can address it after. What I'm hearing you, and I could be wrong, but what I'm hearing is something that I feel is been a distraction for the reparations movement and a divider, which is people pitting Latinos and their needs or their desires against reparations. And to me, those are two separate conversations.
We'll address that at the traffic and sports.
I think, I think that that is really popular in Chicago. It's really popular with a lot of MAGA folks, is getting us to focus on the divide between Latino communities and Black communities and resources and reparations. And to implement reparations on the scale that is owed to the Freedmen community in this country, it's going to take more than ESL or, immigrant programs money. We're talking about a massive debt to the descendants of enslaved folks and the victims of Jim Crow in this country. We'll address it after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A Columbia University student has been released from ICE custody after school leaders accused agents of misrepresenting themselves to access campus. Columbia's acting president, Claire Shipman.
This was a frightening and fast-moving situation and utterly unacceptable for our students and staff.
DHS denies that, saying they've begun removal proceedings for the student whose visa was terminated years ago. A new poll shows fear, not support, is keeping many black voters from protesting President Trump. Research from HIT Strategies found 32% worry about being arrested and another 32% fear mob violence, with others citing job risks. And in South Carolina, plans are set for Reverend Jesse Jackson's memorial. On Monday, his body will lie in state at the State House before a public service at Brooklyn Baptist Church in West Columbia. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was another rough night for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers and Clippers have now lost 3 straight. Somebody named Royce O'Neal hit a three-pointer with 0.9 seconds left in the game to give Phoenix a 113-110 win over the Lakers. O'Neal's game winner ruined a 41-point performance by Luka Doncic. The Clippers had to play Minnesota last night without 2 starters. Kawhi Leonard and John Collins were on the bench with an injury. Minnesota held on for a 94-88 win at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers had a horrible night shooting from three-point range. They made only 5 of 22. Grambling State University gave a 2-year contract extension to head football coach Mickey Joseph. The legendary HBCU program was 7-5 last season, the team's best finish since 2017. Joseph is 12-12 in his first 2 seasons at Grambling. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI Trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, Khalif Alexander is here. I see you're not worried about the attacks on Juneteenth. You call yourself a reparationist. Why did you decide to put so much effort into Juneteenth? You know, because there's so many more direct reparations issues. Why was this top 10 for you?
Well, Juneteenth, back in 2018 and 2019, my mentor, his name is Ron Brown, born and raised in Philadelphia. He introduced me to the concept, and he was saying that it was going to be a national holiday. A lot of people didn't believe him at that time, quite frankly. And then what he would do is he would just show me all of the information. He would say, you know, this is this, this is that. And I just thought he was somewhat of a crazy old man, but then also he was a wise old man. And at that time, reparations, that was just like a conversation, but it was nowhere near what it is right now. The lineage-based movement was nowhere near what it is. The reparations movement was nowhere what it is right now in today's time. And as Ron Brown, he's teaching me these things. One thing about people with me, if you say something and it happens, I believe you. I'll believe you. So when he showed me that information from 2018, 2019, and 2020, and when Trump was in office, the guy by the name of Ron Johnson, he voted against the Juneteenth becoming a national holiday, and we were like on the precedent of it. The following year, obviously, President Biden got into office and Juneteenth became a national holiday. But that just sparked something in my mind, because the old man, that's what I call him, the old man always told me, he said, Khalif, this is going to be a national holiday.
Right. And
once it became a national holiday, or even before it became a national holiday, he said, you need to start working on what you're going to be doing next, because after we got our physical freedom, then we started to work on Reconstruction. We started to do these different things. So that led me down that rabbit hole of the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, the badges, vestiges, and different things like that of slavery, the Freedmen Acts, all of those different things, the compromise. And that's what led me into even being involved in the lineage-based reparations movement. I already knew about reparations, but it was just, it didn't all connect. And I feel like I was one of the main connectors in regards to the actual holiday.
But I mean, activists were working on it for decades, for generations.
They were working on
Juneteenth.
Yeah, Juneteenth. Yeah, you got a bunch of them. Queen Mother Opal Lee. You got the National Juneteenth Observers Fund. You got a whole nine, right?
Right.
But this is the difference. And Ron Brown was all in that, because he was the Northeastern director of that organization.
Dr. Lee is out of Texas, which is where the Jubilee started, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying that in regards to, see, now you got me talking about Ron Brown. I gotta find him, but that's true. But what happened was, in the 90s, they created a coalition of people nationwide working on Juneteenth, and that coalition became the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation. That whole concept, basically, they created these regional directors, and sweepingly in New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Ron Brown and the people that he worked with, they were making Juneteenth a state holiday within this framework. 2019, he put me on this is when they still this was before Zoom. He had me on the phone. He had me on what do you used to call those things? We used to be on the phone. It was like a business meeting on the phone. I can't remember.
Conference
call. There we go.
People still do those, believe it or not.
That's funny. But he had me on a conference call with 100 people. And they were all talking about this, Juneteenth becoming a national holiday. And he was kind of like the lead speaker. And Queen Mother Opal Lee was like the face. She was the face that they put out there to be for Juneteenth. And
because she'd been working on it for decades.
She'd been working on it for decades, yes. But then she was the person that made it propaganda. She was the person that made it whereas though we want Juneteenth to be that, because this older black woman who had her property taken from her, who's from this place where as though Juneteenth is historic, she was the one. Like, she was like the Michael Jordan. So they propped her up with the walk that she did every year. You know, she does a walk that's about I want to say it's a certain amount of miles that she walks every year. And that started in like 2016. But you got me talking about Juneteenth. But in any event, the Juneteenth movement, that's what led me to the reparations space and the lineage-based space, because there was a connection, but it wasn't connected.
Right. So, and I feel like we're not super focused today. I'm not really sure why, but we'll try to get focus here.
Yes.
When we went into news, traffic, and sports, you were somehow, you were drawing a line between Latinos in an English class or a math class being instructed in Spanish and reparations. And for me, this whole anti-migrant or anti-Latino strain within the reparations movement feels like a distraction. And that's why, I'm like, what does one have to do with the other? You think that if immigrants stop being taught in Spanish or get kicked out of the country by ICE, as I was told by Chicago reparationists on this show, Mark Carter, that we're suddenly going to get justice for black people, we're suddenly going to get reparations, or it's going to free up the money. Like, help me understand the thinking behind that divisive kind of rhetoric.
Oh man, I love
in the reparations space.
I love how you word things, but
thank you.
I would say, I don't even really want to go down that rabbit hole, because if we go down that rabbit hole, we'll be here for hours. I would just say that I think what people are seeing, they're looking at city budgets, they're looking at state budgets, and they're saying, okay, we've been trying to get legislation. We've been advocating for legislation. And every time we advocate for legislation, for some reason, we have to work miracles to even get the legislation passed, and then we have to work another miracle to get the finance for it. And what people are noticing, they're just saying, okay, non-citizens are getting legislation passed for them, and that legislation is bringing finances to them. It's just simple as that. I can't go down a rabbit hole and say anymore. That's what's happening.
But what does that have to do with reparations? I mean,
I just said it's clear as day.
It's not clear as day. You need trillions of dollars for reparations, and you think that if you stop teaching kids math and Spanish, that's what you're implying when you're saying it, because you're bringing up. Okay, so what does that have to do without what does it have to do with reparations? I genuinely don't get it.
So I vehemently just stated again. There are city budgets, there are state budgets.
Yeah, I'm clear on that. And county budgets and federal budgets, and private budgets.
These budgets. People are advocating for more finances in our communities, not just reparations. People have been advocating for Freedmen Affairs agencies. Black farmers have been advocating, not at the federal level neither, not just losses. I'm talking about at the state levels and city levels.
Okay.
People have been advocating for these finances. HBCUs have been advocating for more funding. And what people are saying is, okay, as we're advocating and we're basically being told we don't have the money, we don't have this, they're increasing taxes on people, citizens, to give more finances to non-citizens. Is that cut and dry?
It really isn't that cut and dry, because a lot of the finances for non-citizens that you're talking about are exactly that, propaganda. Like, most of that stuff isn't even real. Most of the money for so-called non-citizens right now is going into ICE. They are now by far the biggest law enforcement agency in the country, and they're supposed to be getting rid of non-citizens. Well, they're busy shooting Keith Porter Jr. in Northridge and, arresting and harassing actual citizens and others. Another Black Lives Matter grassroots activist arrested by the Department of Justice actually yesterday. That wasn't ICE, but it's, Homeland Security related. So that's not clear as day at all. I mean, if you're talking about things that benefit immigrant community, I know the propaganda. I don't even want to call it propaganda. I know what you're talking about. Right. It's like the sheep mentality. Okay, we're going to run over here and everyone's going to help people who are being terrorized by ICE. Well, where's the help for the unhoused black people? I get that. I agree with you on that as far as where's our where our priorities are. But when you talk about reparations, and you
that I'm not right now, by the way,
which
that's
we
what you're talking
should.
about.
No, that's what we came to talk about. And you brought up Spanish classes in the LAUSD. So I'm saying,
talking about economic justice and justice as a whole, not even just the reparative justice, just economic justice in the black community as a whole.
So you're still not really. You're saying it's clear as day, but you're really not connecting the dots for me.
I mean,
and show me how this is just not ops distracting us and getting us talking about Spanish classes instead of reparations, which is what we set out to talk about today.
Well, that's me giving a real life example that most people can't give because most people won't actually give an example like that because they haven't experienced that. Most people aren't activists. Most people aren't activists in the reparations space or in any space in regards to black economics or black empowerment and have seen anything like that. So what I'm doing is all I'm doing is just sharing the real world experience so that the people that's listening, the people that's viewing, and then you yourself and other people can say, "Wow, I didn't know that was going on." It's not to say that this is this and this is that.
And it may or may not be going on because some of the things that you're saying right now, they're talking points.
No, these are things that I've seen with my own eyes.
They're talking points, but you've seen with your own eyes. You do, and so do I. I probably need better ones.
I do too.
But you've seen with your own eyes a math class being taught in Spanish.
Yes.
But you haven't proven any causal relationship between that being an impediment to reparations.
I never said that it was.
Then why is it in the reparations conversation?
This is what I like about you as an interviewer. You'll ask me a question, which is a great question, but the question will imply a larger detail, more of a larger component. I'm not focused on a larger component.
I'm trying to give you the opportunity to put it in context.
But I'm focusing on the threads. So the threads that I'm focusing on is, okay, these are the things that I'm seeing as a real world activist that most real world activists, they don't see. They might just complain about it or they might speak about it.
But I need data. I need facts. I don't need you just telling me I saw this class and it's terrible, so therefore we're spending too much money on Latinos.
I didn't say that.
Well, you kind of did.
Kinda.
You said.
You see.
You said it. You think it's illegal. It's a problem. But what does it have to do with reparations? Okay, that's the real question.
Right.
Because the point is, I believe we are both putting effort and time into moving the ball down the field for reparations, for actual wins. Legislative wins, cutting check wins. Freedmen Bureau wins, and so it feels like a distraction.
So can I ask you a question?
I guess so. You're supposed to be answering questions, and you didn't answer the one I just asked you. But go ahead.
I think I did, but my question is, okay.
No, you said, "May I ask you a question?" That was your answer. Okay, but go ahead.
So if the reparations, the lineage-based movement has been advocating 5 years for development of a Freedmen Affairs agency. How long did it take?
And where are we talking about right now?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
That's one place. But you can even use California as an example because even before it was put in the 500-page report, people were advocating for that as activists.
It's 1,000 pages, but yeah.
Fine, it's 1,000 pages. I thought it was 500, but okay, I'm glad for the correction. Now, that's in the report.
Right.
The development of an agency. They've done the research. They've conducted the research.
And there was a bill. And then there was another bill.
There was 2 bills.
And the second one was signed by the governor.
Right. Now.
But it's not the same as the first one.
Yeah, and that's another rabbit hole because we got a lot of rabbit holes on that.
Right.
But the information from that report, all like minds would say, okay, we can take that information from that report, which comes from the lineage-based movement, but we can take that information, and Dr. William Sandy Darity, he stated these things, but we can take that information.
What are you, okay.
The development of the Freedmen Bureau's agency is a concept of the lineage-based reparations movement. So Dr. William Sandy Darity.
It also comes from Reconstruction when we actually had that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're adding that because that comes from Dr. William Sandy Darity's book when he outlined these things. Okay, so the concept, it comes from Reconstruction. We just didn't make this up. It's not a favor, as Obona Hagen says in Philly. It's not a favor.
Right. It's a debt.
But it's a constitutional thing because it's actually there. But what I'm attempting to say is this: if we know that it's in the reports, we know that it's in the Constitution from the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment as one of the vestiges of slavery, why do we have such a difficult time even introducing the legislation. You got to think about it, how frustrating it can be to speak with 20 different legislators in your home city, in your home state, majority of them being freedmen, Black American, and many of them say, I don't know if we can do that. I'm showing you the information.
And what do you attribute it to?
Benign neglect, but I mean,
that's one of those, MAGA talking points. Put it in actual
That's
concrete.
not a MAGA talking point. That's Dr. Claude Anderson.
Okay, well, there's another rabbit hole.
Dr. Claude Anderson
there goes another rabbit hole.
He worked for y'all boy, Jimmy Carter, the Democrat.
Y'all boy, okay. Dr. Claude Anderson has a very conservative worldview, but we can have that conversation another day.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to keep us focused. Right. Us focused. Concerned Black Americans 5640 says, don't turn reparations into a distraction by acting like it's not connected to economic justice, which intersects with disproportionate benefit immigrants are receiving. It does, obviously, it's connected with economic justice. I think this idea that immigrants are receiving disproportionate benefit a lot of it is illusion. A lot of it is illusion, unless you count all the spending on ICE. But anyway, you were saying that. You're saying that what?
I'm basically saying it's frustrating to deal with these Black officials,
and benign neglect is the reason why. Instead of
they just don't want to do nothing for Black people.
I feel like
they think that we're incompetent. You have people that are running for office, right?
Because they think we're incompetent.
I believe so. I believe so. They don't hire Black people to be consultants on their campaign.
Yeah, that's what
they only hire Black people to do field work for them. When you look at when you look at some of these people's staff members, most of the staff is non-Black. So
I actually have seen that.
We have a real issue, but the thing is, when you address these issues,
it's not a zero-sum game, though. It's not. That's what concerned Black Americans said. It's not a zero-sum game.
It's getting to a point in our community as activists, as people that are advocates of these issues. We're pissed because we're seeing this in real time.
That on the radio, but I hear you.
I'm sorry, my apologies.
So you're saying it's benign neglect. You don't think it's because their election is more important to them than anything else? Their re-election, maintaining office, and reparations is politically.
I really think these people don't care
risky.
about Black people. I really think that. I've had conversations with people, and I think that most people are in office because they like the check, they like the perks, they like the benefits, and the little bit of power that they have, that they don't have to work a regular job. That's what I really think. People can disagree with me all they want. I've been around politicians since I was 15 years old. I'm about to be 30 in July. I really think that most Black politicians feel like they got a good job and they've elevated themselves from the community.
It
and
may
they're
not just be
employees
Black
of the dominant
politicians,
society.
by the way.
But that's what I'm focusing on, because the Black politicians are the ones that we vote for. I don't vote for no white politicians in the community. The only white politician that even crossed my mind to vote for was Jim Kennedy, the former mayor of Philadelphia, and I didn't even vote for him.
Well, we'll continue this conversation when we come forward. Khalif Alexander is here, and I swear we're gonna find out what he came in here for. He's got something for you when we come forward. Oh, okay. KBLA. Well, we did that. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right.
KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
I think it's astrological or something, Khalif, because I will take responsibility. It's my show. Have not been keeping us focused. So you have a couple of things that you're actually working on that you came here to talk about. Let me just hand you the mic and let you do that.
Absolutely. So right now in the city of Philadelphia, the organization that I work with, like I said, with the Bona Higgins and Brother Anthony Dickerson, what we're doing now is we just got the Freedmen Affairs Agency is coming out of the committee and is going to be hitting the city council floor in a matter of a few weeks for a vote. If you are in the city of Philadelphia and you're intrigued by that, you can reach out to your local electeds to get them to potentially pass that bill. That bill is going to be instrumental because we will be the first city in the first state to have something like that since Reconstruction on the books, and our goal is to have that office in the city.
But you mean to be called the Freedmen Affairs Office?
I mean,
because we know Evanston is actually writing checks.
They're writing checks, but I'm talking about the office.
Yeah,
not
talking about
just
the bureau. Yeah, I want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then you're doing, what is the organization that you're working with there?
So that's the Philadelphia Reparations Coalition for American Freedmen.
And then you said you're having a GoFundMe?
Yeah, so we have a GoFundMe for my organization called Concerned Black American Citizens. I'm the National Outreach Director. Our organization, we recently just opened up our first office in Durham, North Carolina. We're doing work out of Durham, North Carolina, and also in Philadelphia. We have a GoFundMe. Our goal is to fundraise at least $10,000 to help us, keep the lights on, work in the community. And pretty much, we already got the building. We just had our first event. We just did a successful R&B karaoke bingo event for Black History Month.
Nice.
Yes, it was amazing. And our goal now is, and we also have another bingo event going on today in Philadelphia. Shout out to my mom and my grandma and them. They hosting it for me. And,
okay, family affair. That's generational reparations.
You know how we do. But pretty much our goal with that is for our offices to advocate for our community, but we have a bunch of community-based programs centered around AI, community health. So we've been developing programs outside of just the reparations scope, because people are just so, when we start talking, they just want reparations. No, we actually do other things in the community. Reparations is just our thing that just gets us to the front line so that we can even have these discussions. But we're doing everyday real work in the community. Is a guy that I'm working with right now in the city of Philadelphia, Brother John Solomon. He calls himself Endangered Kind. They have the organization. They're going to different neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia, and one of the biggest initiatives is advocating for housing. The mayor of Philadelphia, she recently said that they're looking to build 50,000 houses in the city of Philadelphia over the next 5 to 10 years. 25,000 new, 25,000 that'll be refurbished. Our thinking is, okay, if we're building 50,000 houses, who's building them? Who's living in them? Who's getting those contracts?
Yeah, key questions. How do we find the organization, the Concerned Citizens, your GoFundMe? So
our organization, the GoFundMe will be dropped in the comment link. I don't have my phone at the moment, but the organization is cbacusa.org. You can follow us there. You can check us out there on that's our website. And then our GoFundMe, my partner, she should drop it in the chat at the moment. I don't have my phone, it's actually charging, but you can check us out.
Well, you can tell me, and I'll let folks know when we come forward. So the GoFundMe is help setting up your offices, and for the Concerned Citizens, and you're asking people to track the city council vote on a Freedmen Affairs Bureau. You think you have the votes?
Of course, yeah. We definitely have the votes. It's more or less now about what type of funding the office will receive.
Right, because we saw San Francisco just set up an office or a fund with no funding.
Right. Same thing with the reparations task force that we had in the city of Philadelphia with no funding attached to it.
So this is, we got to go. Yeah. So this is the next step, in your opinion, a Freedmen Bureau.
Yes.
Not just a commission, not just a task force with no money.
Yeah, not the task force with no money. We've seen what that does. Now we have the information and the research. Now at this point, all of the advocates that are reparationists nationwide need to be advocating for a development of an Office of Freedmen Affairs, because that is going to get us to the next level of the movement.
And your socials, where can we find you, follow you?
Check me out on Instagram, lucky__leafy. You'll get the updates there. That's the best place.
Okay.
And,
and it's LEE.
L-E-E-F.
Not regular like leaves. L-E-E. All right, good to see you. And we have the Mooney Twins in here next, so the wildness will continue on this Freedman Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A Columbia University student has been released from ICE custody after school leaders accused agents of misrepresenting themselves to access campus. Columbia's acting president, Claire Shipman.
This was a frightening and fast-moving situation and utterly unacceptable for our students and staff.
DHS denies that, saying they've begun removal proceedings for the student whose visa was terminated years ago. A new poll shows fear, not support, is keeping many black voters from protesting President Trump. Research from HIT Strategies found 32% worry about being arrested and another 32% fear mob violence, with others citing job risks. And in South Carolina, plans are set for Reverend Jesse Jackson's memorial. On Monday, his body will lie in state at the State House before a public service at Brooklyn Baptist Church in West Columbia. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD.